And we're back, guys, the WTA finals, and we are going to take a look at the orange team. That's right, guys. Iga Swiatek, the top seed in this part of the draw. She's the number 2 ranked player in the world, the number 2 seed, and she's back, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, a coaching change, just like Elena Rybakina, taking some time off, some personal issues, but she's back. Now, I made a few videos. We talked about the rules and how Iga lost her number 1 spot. I'm not okay with that. Okay, I'm not okay with players losing their ranking due to a rule that is just horrible to begin with, right? You're making players play a certain number of tournaments, but you're not acknowledging the circumstances that can happen and that did happen. Now, the top tier players, they're big for the sport. I understand they're great for marketing. They're great for everything they bring to the game, you know, the fans, the interest, the endorsements, the sponsors. But we have to keep in mind that the players that are doing well, they're winning a lot of matches. They're going deep into a lot of tournaments. And sometimes, look, you just need a break. But Iga's got the opportunity. Can she win the WTA finals back to back? If so, she will be put into a small group of women to have achieved this accomplishment on the WTA tour. Let's go back. Let's go way back, ladies and gentlemen. How about 1972-73? I was not born. I was nowhere near being born. Chris Everett won it in 72 and 73. That's right, guys. We're going to take a look at the few players, the handful of females to win back-to-back WTA championships. Martina Navratilova, ladies and gentlemen, she won it in 78 and 79. Again, I was nowhere near being born, but she was dominating the tour. She also won it from 83 to 86. That's right, 83, 84, and 86. Monica Seles, she won it in 90, 91, and 92. Steffi Graf won it in 95 and 96. Kim Clusters won it in 02 and 03. Justine Henney, that's right, guys, the great American, won it in 06 and 07. And the great Serena Williams won it in 2012, 2013, 2014. And she beat Halep in 14. Now, these are the ladies that have done it at least back to back. But again, let's not forget, Serena also won it in 2001 and 2009. Now, can Iga Swiatek become the first player to win back-to-back WTA championships since Serena Williams, 13 and 14? Can she do it? Well, she's going to have to do it while not having played in quite a while, ladies and gentlemen. Her last match was against Jessica Pegula on September 5th at the U.S. Open, where she lost that in straight sets. Now, in her draw, ladies and gentlemen, she has 2 players that have beat her last, Jessica Pegula and Barbora Krejcikova. And she's got Coco, who she's dominated the head-to-head against. But I feel, and I mentioned this in the previous video, the number 1 seed, which is Sabalenka, the 8th seed should be in her draw, which is Barbora Krejcikova. Now, I also talked about what is going on with the WTA finals here. Now, are we being political here? Well, okay, of course. Always, whenever there's business, you're always political. But Barbora sneaks in here, and I'm not really understanding here. Because, okay, there's been talks about Emma Navarro not being 100% healthy. Okay, I get it. You know, Dasha's been kind of going through her thing there, but she's here as an alternate. Danielle Collins is here as an alternate. And I don't really understand how Barbora sneaks in here. What do you guys think? Now, she won SW19. We know that. But in terms of the rankings, The race to the finals, Aryna Sabalenka was number 1 with 9,000 points. Iga number 2, 7,900 points. Coco number 3, 5,200 points. Polini number 4, 5,100 points. Rybakina number 5, 4,900 points. Pegula number 6, 4,700 points. Queenwin number 7, 4,500 points. And Emma Navarro, 3,500 points. Now, ninth was Dasha, 3,300 points. Danielle Collins, 10th, 3,100 points. Badosa, 11th, 2,900 points. And Barbora, 12th, with 2,800 points. How did the 8th player, and again, there's been rumors that Emma was not healthy. I don't know about that. I don't know if I'm buying that. Dasha, she's here as an alternate. Danielle's here as an alternate. They're 9th and 10th. Badosa, we know, has had injury issues. I can see her not wanting to play. But Barbora's 12th. How does Barbora sneak in and Danielle's an alternate and Dasha's an alternate? Can someone fill me in? Look, I know I've been training for marathons and running. I have been covering as much tennis lately. Am I missing something here? How is Barbora in this draw? What about Danielle? Danielle got healthy. Dasha's an alternate. What is going on here? Okay, did the ladies say something? Now, Emma chose not to travel as an alternate because, she's battling injury. But the reality is, if she was injured to begin with, why would she have to travel as an alternate? Interesting. Am I missing something? Comment below, guys. Nonetheless, in Iga's draw, two of the players that have beat her last, Pegula and Barbora. Very interesting. Now, Iga hasn't played since September. Can she make history and win the WTA finals back-to-back? We all know what happened in 22. Go check the community. The class of 22 I just posted to remind you. That's right, guys. Sabalenka, the French woman, ended up taking it. Sabalenka shocked her in the semifinals. And this is the beauty about the WTA finals, or any ATP as well. If you win your first match and you play well, you got a chance to make the semifinal. You make the semifinal, anything can happen. And we're going to cover Coco next, guys. If Coco wins her match against Pegula tomorrow, anything can happen. Iga slips up, loses against Barbora or Pegula. Or Iga gets through to the semifinal. Sabalenka has a good match, beats her. Queenwin beats her again. Coco comes through. Next thing you know, Coco's in the final playing for the title. Anything is possible when we're talking about the WTA finals. But Iga Swiatek, the number 2 seed, guys, she's got 5 titles on the year. She started things off in Doha. She won the Indian Wells. She tried to repeat the Sunshine Double. Couldn't do it, right? Becoming only one of a handful of ladies to do the Sunshine Double twice, right? I think only 3 people did it in history, and one of those being Novak. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. She won the Indian Wells, Madrid, Rome, and the French Open, of course. But is she developing a rumor? Is she developing this image of just being a great clay player? If she wins the WTA finals again, I think she's got the opportunity to really silence the critics. But nonetheless, guys, Iga Swiatek, her 3rd straight 59-win season at least, right? 3rd straight 50-win season at least. Last year, she won 69 matches. In 22, the historic 22, she won 70 matches. But she's taking on Barbora Krejcikova, and we're going to pivot here, ladies and gentlemen, because Barbora, I don't think she deserves to be here, to be honest with you. But then again, if we're going to change the rules and make exceptions, I think anyone that wins a slam should be guaranteed a spot in the race to the finals. Now, technically, they kind of should be, because when you win all those points, all you have to do is just be consistent throughout the year and you'll make the finals. But again, we're seeing players that not necessarily holding their end of the bargain, but Sabalenka won 2 championships this year, the Australian Open when it comes to slams, and the U.S. Open. And take a look at Jasmine Polini, who didn't win a slam, but she made 2 finals, the French Open and the SW19 final, and she's here. Highest ranked Italian in the history of female tennis. Now, Barbora, listen, Not that active this year. Injuries, 19 wins, 14 losses. Last year, she won 34 matches. But she's taking on Iga Swiatek, someone she has just done well against. I can't think of another player besides Rybakina that has won more service games in the head-to-head matchup with Iga Swiatek, right? Barbora is solid, and I say it all the time. She's able to beat Iga because she has those veteran tactics. A lot of those tactics that Iga uses, Barbora has already mastered. Different little things to buy time, disrupt your opponent's momentum, rhythm, timing, energy. Remember, guys, that U.S. Open match against Garbiñe Muguruza, yeah, a lot of things going on in that matchup. And Garbiñe was so upset. She didn't even want to, I don't even think she shook her hand. Or if she did, it was very rude. I don't think she shook her hand at the net. Someone remind me. But that was a very interesting match. Barbora got injured. She kept buying time, slowing off Garbiñe's rhythm, her timing, so she couldn't take advantage of the injury that Barbora had. Barbora's very skilled and tactical, and I feel that she's one of the few players that can match Iga Swiatek's energy. Now, the last time they played last year in Doha and Barbora won that championship, I told you she would, right? But Barbora also beat her in Ostrava in 22 when Alicia Parks went wild there. Came there through the qualifier. She ended up winning the doubles title. That went 3, but Barbora won that matchup as well. The question is, and this is why you're tuning in, can Barbora beat Iga Swiatek again, ladies and gentlemen? Well, listen, Barbora hasn't played a lot of matches this year. She's averaging just about 2 aces per match, winning about 68% of her service games, getting 67% of her first serves won. Not a great returner historically, right? She's only winning 33% of her return games, but I want to take a look at the return stats overall. She wins 36% of her opponent's first return points and 53% of her opponent's second return points. Barbora's going to have to step in on the second serves of Iga Swiatek and take advantage of them. She's going to have to. And she can't give the double faults to Iga Swiatek, right? She averages about 3 double faults a match. She's going to have to tone that down. Iga Swiatek needs no introduction, ladies and gentlemen. The number 2, technically, I still think she's the number 1 player in the world. She wins 83% of her service games. She wins about 69% of her first serves. And when we talk about returns, the second best returner on tour, the second best defender on tour behind Coco. Iga wins 48% of all return points. That's insane. She wins 41% of her opponent's first return points and 59, nearly 60% of her opponent's second return points. Who's going to win this matchup? Listen, guys, I think Barbora has the shot-making ability. I think her mid-range game is underrated. She's got the serve placement. And again, she has the tactics that throw her opponents off of rhythm. Iga Swiatek, possibly, arguably the best footwork in the game when it comes to front, back, side to side. I love her backhand across court. She comes across the body better than most tennis players. A lot of players, when they're coming across their body, will make a mistake. You literally have a smaller window to generate more power and be accurate. And a lot of times it causes errors. I watch enough tennis to tell you that coming across body is a very difficult shot. I think Iga does it better than anyone on tour. I think her serve placement is still better than anyone on tour. She learned a new serve in 3 days, right? Of course, it was a little shaky, right? She got a lot of feedback early on stating she needs to go back to her initial serve, but she worked it out. But what concerns me is she hasn't played since September. And how's she going to be with her timing? We saw Elena Rybakina today struggle a lot, right, when it came to that. And I think Iga's going to struggle as well. Now, Barbora did play 3 tournaments on the Chinese leg of the tour. She played Beijing, early exit to Jacqueline Christian. She played Wuhan, early exit to Haley Baptiste. Watch out for her next year, Coco's bestie. One of her besties, and she played Ningbo, where she took out Maiwa, and she lost to Mira Andreeva. At least she's been active. So we're going to take the first set over 8.5. I think Barbora is going to have success holding, and Iga Swiatek will make mistakes. That's the pick, guys. But can Iga Swiatek repeat as finals champion? Comment below. That's the question of the night.